Moving on to Afghanistan, after months-long stalemate of intra-Afghan negotiations, the Afghan government and the Taliban finally agreed to initiate the long-awaited peace talks last week. However, the chances of peace returning to the war-torn nation are still hanging on a thread as the Islamist group has not put a halt to its offensive against Afghan security forces. The violence has ramped up since the agreement, and discord over the release of Taliban prisoners has hampered progress on formal talks. A report.
Hopes for a breakthrough in a push to end Afghanistan's grueling conflict have dimmed again amid growing violence in the country. Multiple bomb blasts and attacks are being reported on a daily basis from the war-torn nation. Recently, a Taliban attack in western Badghis province of Afghanistan killed at least 10 Afghan security forces, including 7 commandos and 3 police officials, and wounded 5 others. In a separate incident in the northern Jowzjan province, a roadside bomb ripped through a rickshaw and killed 6 civilians. No one claimed the responsibility for the attack. However, the Interior Ministry of Afghanistan blamed Taliban for the bloodshed. The latest assault comes as Kabul authorities accuse Taliban of unleashing a wave of violence in recent weeks after violence descended on much of the country following a 3-day ceasefire announced in May.
There are doubts being raised by the various stakeholders, even by the Afghanistan government, that this peace agreement, this intra-Afghanistan talks, are not going to lead the country to anywhere. The assets, intelligence, the security forces, the law and order machinery, the police forces, and even the peripheral government establishments were attacked in 39 provinces during past 1 week. And that is a kind of warning bell that tolls for the entire world, and also for the stakeholders of peace who are out to broker peace between the Taliban and the government with the involvement of United States in Afghanistan.
The security situation of Afghanistan has declined from bad to worse in the past few days. According to the National Security Council of Afghanistan, the Taliban group carried out 422 attacks in 32 provinces during the past week, killing 291 security personnel and wounding 550 others. In the same period, the insurgents are accused of killing 42 civilians, including women and children, and wounding 105 others. Also, about 60 civilians in central Afghanistan were kidnapped by the Taliban over the past week. In another revelation, the UN mission in Afghanistan released a report raising concerns about 15 attacks on health workers and healthcare facilities during the coronavirus pandemic, attributing responsibility for the majority of them to the Taliban. The spokesman of National Security Council of Afghanistan said that the Taliban's commitment to reduce violence is meaningless and their actions inconsistent with their rhetoric on peace. The accusations come as the insurgent group and the government inch closer to potential peace negotiations, posing an immediate threat to upcoming intra-Afghan talks.
Spokesman for the Afghanistan, Javed Faisal, had clearly mentioned it that this is meaningless exercise because gun and the peace cannot go together. His comments was very clear when he says that it's not going to reap anything to the Afghanistan because they are not consistent with their policy of leading towards peace.
The insurgents' onslaught made for the deadliest week in the history of the 19-year-long conflict, but it hasn't stopped the US from pushing for a peace deal. Recently, the US Special Representative for Afghanistan Reconciliation, Zalmay Khalilzad, tweeted that both sides should not be deterred and push forward to take the steps necessary to reach intra-Afghan negotiations where a comprehensive ceasefire and a political settlement can be negotiated as quickly as possible. This is what the Afghan people want, and we stand with them. The United States say that there is no military solution to the ongoing conflict and has already reduced its troops level under a troop withdrawal agreement with the Taliban in February, designed to pave the way for peace talks with the Afghan government. Under the deal, all American forces are to leave Afghanistan by the end of May 2021. However, that complete withdrawal is conditions-based. That includes a Taliban guarantee that Afghan soil will not be used as a launchpad against the US and its allies, the launch of Intra Afghan negotiations, and a permanent and comprehensive ceasefire in Afghanistan. But the continuous surge of violence by Taliban is suggestive of an unchanged stance and strategy of the insurgent group despite all the talks. Only when the Taliban ceases its attacks, the situation of Afghanistan will move towards stability and peace.